What's going on, guys? Can everybody see me and hear me? How many of you guys we got in here now? 0 watchers. You got 1. You're seeing 7. I'm seeing 1 on. Okay, there we go. We're up to 4. Excuse the title. It's from yesterday's stream. It hasn't updated just yet. We'll switch that. Alright, guys, I'm going to take questions from our podcast chatter. I'm going to wait till we have 10. I've got 8, so we'll wait for 2 more, and then we'll kick it off. Oh, 11, awesome. What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to PowerHour. It's been a while since you've had one of these. Sorry, we've been on the road. Had a conference in LA last weekend, and yes, this past week it's been flying back and preparing for the Super Bitcoin Conference going on in Dallas, or Bitcoin Super Conference. Can you guys hear me okay? How's my audio? You can drop me a comment in our Discord. Let me know how audio is. Awesome. All right, let's dive right in. All right, we're past the pullback, the big massive correction on BTC. You saw the massive dip. We almost called a head turn at like 5,800. Let's not do this. Get some clear MAs for you guys. There we go. And let's go bigger. Do a 6-hour chart. Alright, so we had this massive pullback into the 5,800, 6,100 range, and then that's where the big buy volume came in. And it really picked up BTC. I was covering it yesterday and we're at like that 10,200 range. Based on like my ADX, it's looking pretty healthy. It looks like there's a little bit of ways up before we see the next correction or the next retracement, right? Not to be like a massive correction, but a little bit of a retracement. These past few candles have been bullish, right? We got the Chinese New Year, and ironically, I posted on this 2 days ago. All the BTC buying volume is coming in via Japanese yen, right? So Japan is really loading up. I think it was like 51.5% of BTC's price action was coming in from Japan. And that tells us that Japanese are kind of loading up. There's something brewing over there. You know, we had like South Korea FUD, we had India FUD, we had this massive FUD era of a correction with a lot of short selling. And a lot of panic, but what happened? We had this full-blown retracement, and then the big money came in and bought BTC for cheap, right? I mean, whoever bought it at 6K, we're at 10 already. They're already up really, you know, nice chunk of profit. So with these corrections, I actually developed a strategy for next time we deal with them, right? We're gonna have a 20% of our portfolios sitting aside for a short play on leverage. It's going to be risky, but what it's going to do, if you leverage 20% of your portfolio at 5x, or that's what I'm going to do. If I leverage my 20% of my port at 5x, that's going to be the entire value of the portfolio. When your entire portfolio is shorting BTC in a downtrend, your port's going to double or triple, and it's not going to be as massive as a hit. So one thing I try to make sure is that every correction, every single everything we go through is going to teach us and set us up for the future. It's going to set us up for success next time, right? And what market is, it's just learning opportunities, right? Market participants are humans. Humans are creatures of habit, and what we need to do is identify how to deal with these habits so we're always profitable, right? And we had a tough correction that we just went through. But I mean, things are looking up. Alts are gonna rebound. A lot of the USD pairs are moving in unison. The charts look very much similar on the USD chart, and some of the alts are rallying. Some of them are looking sketch. But with this BTC movement, with the re-increase in market cap, that's good. We're seeing more confidence come into the market, and confidence is good. We want to see more money flow into the market and bring prices up. As for BTC on the 6-hour chart, it's looking pretty bullish. On the 1-day chart, I'm gonna check my moving averages, see if we're officially broken through. We still haven't broken through, right? We've got a nice level of resistance right here. It's actually, you can see the channel. It's going to be the top of that resistance right at that longer term moving average at 11.4, and then we're almost at the bottom of that channel. And yesterday I was talking about how we need to get in this upper channel. We might go back down and test the lower channel between the 88 and 92 range. That's for the OBV on a 1-day. It's looking good. I mean, we're making these gains even in a negative sell-off. And the DMX DMY indicator right here, DI plus, DI minus, we're looking to make that DI cross, right? And DI crosses are pretty aggressive. Whenever we see that, we see a good increase in price action. And it's been pretty aggressive. The trend, I was at the Bitcoin conference yesterday, and I'm talking to a couple of people, like a couple other analysts. They're like, oh, it's a bear market. I'm like, how is it bear market? We're seeing all these pennants, all these bull flags developing on BTC. I think, we're not, this doesn't look like bear market to me. This looks like an upwards correction from the downtrend. We might see another dip down, but the fact that we're actually upholding these values and we're seeing aggression and price action, that's good. I mean, I'm just gonna identify some like key pennants and stuff that I see. So this was actually a cup and handle and almost a pennant yesterday, and it was like the 10K range. And then there's like a smaller bull flag, and there's almost like a flag here, a double bottom at a higher low. Some pretty bullish divergences, and the market's looking pretty good. BTC is, at least. Do you guys have any questions about the BTC chart for me before I keep moving? Nope. Alright, so I was looking at Ether on the US dollar, and it looks like it's setting up for another leg up. And it's also looking pretty aggressive. We're back at that 968 level. And it looks like it's done correcting, right? That'd be the A, B, C, and we should probably see a new wave developing. I'm still bullish on Ether. We know about Canada running pilot programs. We know about all these ICO tokens running on, all these ICOs running on ERC20 tokens. The UN utilizing Ether for sending aid to foreign countries and to refugees, and smart contracts being utilized, and the coding happening for all these platforms. A lot of the devs I talked to yesterday at the conference, like, oh, I'm launching this new coin, it's an ERC20 token. I heard ERC20 token more than any other letter number combination. And even, you know, this one guy's like, oh, I'm launching a decentralized exchange on ERC20 tokens. I'm like, well, why don't you develop your own token? He goes, it's too expensive. I can code in Ether, but I can't code brand spanking new blockchain. So it's almost like a cost cutter. It makes it easier for devs to enter the market, and so on. So Ether is still gonna have that utility and the smart contract, and it's just I'm still pretty bullish on ETH. It's also a traded pair. As I was actually measuring the pullbacks off the top, Ether pulled back much less than BTC did. It's actually at a higher percent gain. So we're at 32%, 31% from the top on ETH, and BTC was at 44 yesterday. I'm getting to check that out for you guys. So in comparison, on the USD chart, yep, we're at negative 45, right? So you got negative 31, 32, negative 45. So the pullback off the top on ETH has been considerably less than BTC. So people, you know, anyone that hedged in ETH, still hedging in ETH, USD values, you have, you know, you've sustained much less of a USD loss than you would have on BTC. Once we hedged and we had that ETH, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up on the chart. You know, on that ETH BTC chart, on that head turn, you know, that would have been, that's a good place to essentially flip back from ETH to BTC. When that does, what that's gonna do, it's gonna bring your USD values back up. So I think we hedged pretty well during this downturn. You know, the whole market cap took a hit, so unless we were shorting, all ports took a hit. Any questions on Ether before I move forward? You guys in Discord, talk to me. Nope. Did I get any good bits from the conference? Share some intel. Well, that's what I was talking about. A lot of these it was mainly people pitching their ICOs and getting drilled down on their concepts, white papers, and stuff. We're gonna have a list of ICOs that we've dissected and weeded through. I haven't been an ICO guy, right? And you've never seen me post anything in our ICO channel. So this time around, we're actually meeting the developers, meeting the guys behind the idea. So Alex Cho is going to vet through everything we look at and dissect it, and he's gonna come up with some good recs for us, and I'll review that and kind of take it to another level. ETH, right? So Tesla crypto, it appears that way because BTC is actually being more aggressive right now, but the ETH USD chart, right? It's setting up for a run, and this is a point in time where you're gonna have to pick your longs, right? It's not like either or, but it's all about diversification. We see aggression on both charts. They're not gonna move in confluence. Usually a time lag, a lagging span. So one of them's gonna take off, and the other one's gonna take off. On Ether's last all-time high, BTC was headed down, right? So these are things to keep into consideration. Is ETH going to be a hedge, or is it going to be a long, and how do I want to play it, right? And that's going to be up to you guys to decide. Pipsters, we're working on that. There's like a legal team. It's almost like a private offering in a sense. I'm not gonna cover XCP. I haven't re-updated. I haven't been in the community again. Cypher, can you please pull up some XCP for us? Pull up what's going on with the inside community. I think it was you that brought that to my attention. If you can pull that back up and see if you're still getting threats or lawsuits from the community to the devs, that would be really helpful. I'm going to touch up on Monero. So Monero V, we had, there's the XMRV fork, and then Monero yesterday or the day before announced that they don't support the XMRV. And I haven't, issued like a signal exit or anything because the chart is still making us gains. And when we're making gains, we're on a solid chart. I think it's rallied up like some 6% today, at least the futures did. And we're seeing somewhat of an aggressive formation. Moving averages looking up. We're an all-time high in BTC values. Monero's looking good. I'll upload that to YouTube today. I was sitting down with McAfee and we were talking privacy coins, right? And he was still very bullish on Monero in a sense of 90% of the transactions happening on the dark web are in Monero. And he's still adamant about the fact that Monero can't be cracked. Now the devs say different things, the web says different things, but I mean the guy, Monero is still looking good. If you're gonna look at it from just a chart standpoint, the chart is still gaining us. It would be time maybe to implement like a trailing stop, maybe I'm looking for a divergence here, and I'm seeing like a lower high and a lower stochastic on the 1 day. And we're almost at an all-time high. I mean, if this thing acts where like Zcoin did, where we find support here, then the next run is going to be to the next all-time high, and that could be a drastic one. I'm just gonna go ahead and do just a short-term target from the last pullback, right? Just based on fibs. It's gonna be our swing low. It's gonna be our swing high. So I'm just gonna do a fib extension off these and like, whoa. I'm not sure what happened there. So we're gonna have the next few targets, and they look pretty healthy as far as targets go. If we do see a moving average cross back down, this one's looking more like a bounce. So I'm still bullish on Monero as far as case use. Now we're not gonna see the catalyst type gains we were expecting, right? But this has been an upwards moving average cross. It crossed down and crossed back up on the 1 day, and that's going to be pretty good, pretty aggressive. And if we're gonna look for similar fake outs where we've seen this cross up at the top, it's all about habits, right? And that's how we can kind of assume what's gonna happen in the market based on what's happened in the market before. So I'm just gonna highlight to see if we've seen a similar type of MA cross that we're seeing here in the past. And here we see the short-term cross over the midterm and then go back upwards towards the top of the chart. And we haven't quite seen that yet, right? Usually when it crosses over, we see that pullback. Crosses over, we see a pullback. Crosses over and it fakes out. So based on technical strategies, right? Monero looks still bullish. If a chart is making us BTC gains while BTC is making us USD gains, that's a good chart. What's up with Waves, the Bcash airdrop on the 22nd? Guys, how's the quality of the feed right now? I haven't looked into the airdrop on Waves. Let's slow down with the questions. They're kind of running out of the feed. I haven't looked into the airdrop on Waves and Bcash. I will look into that for you guys, but based on the Waves chart on the 1 day, it's not looking the most amazing. You might want to give it some time before we see a rally, before we enter for the rally. Alright, back to DCR, Decred. I signaled DCR on, you know, back somewhere in this range, and it's been a sustainable hedge and a move. Volume on Decred is pretty low today. We see the moving averages cross back down. And we see it establishing a channel. Let me go ahead and put up some ADX. It's currently oversold, right? And the stochastic is moving back up. DI positive is crossing over DI minus, but the uptrend is really dwindling down. So this might be a good point for a reevaluation. Then again, we see the MAs. We see the short-term MA cross over the mid-term MA downwards. So it's not quite an exit yet, not for me, but it's like I'd keep a close watch on it. You know, it's back in this upper channel of support. It seems like it wants to uphold it. It was looking really good in the down market, right? When everything was red, DCR actually was climbing in value, in USD value. When you're climbing in USD value, when BTC is dropping in USD value, you're earning quite a bit of BTC. But now we're in this channel. Volume has really slowed down. We'll look up some catalysts. Cody, that FUD was brought to our attention after the buy rec, and I announced several times that, hey guys, we've got plenty of FUD, and I didn't issue that buy rec. So alright guys, moving on. What charts do you want me to cover? He's going to cover some indicators. What do you want to see happen this power hour? You got about 30 more minutes. Ether Classic, Z Classic, CUDA. Alright, 2 more and I'll dive into them, and then we'll come back and ask some more strat. Last one. Alright, we'll stop right there. Ether Classic is going to be the first one I cover. We've had pretty strong signal on ETC for quite some time now. We've been accumulating. I have futures open on Ether Classic. Oh, let's look at the chart. This is a 1 day chart, right? And a 1 day chart speaks volumes. We somewhat started accumulating Ether Classic over here, and like the 24th of January was the first time when I issued the CLO report. And here we are. We had a few dips, but now we're back up and we're out of the previous channel. If we're looking at the previous range, a range is identified by 3 touches, right? And we've got a lot more than 3 touches here. We've got, this was going to be our bottom of the range, this is our top of the range, and as we hone in on that, we broke out of the previous range, and now we're finding support at this range. Now, when I was boarding my flight from LA to Dallas, BTC was forming in a pennant in like the, what was the range on that? I actually pull it up from my notes. It was still at 92.60, right? When BTC was at 92.60, I issued a statement saying that Bitcoin is going to move up and alts are going to mirror it and move down. And we've seen this happen time and time again. But what happens is our strong alts will rally back up, and once BTC stabilizes and finds a good support. So once BTC enters another stable channel, what we're going to see happen with Ether Classic and some of the other alts, they're going to rally back up and kind of catch up to it in Satoshi level. If you look at Ether Classic on the USD chart, you know, some of the most awesome buy opportunities were around $14, $15, and now we're up to a $34 range. And what do we see here, guys? Somewhat of a pennant. Definitely a pennant. This is a 1 day. I'm gonna go to 6 hour just to get a more of a shape for it. And so it's almost shaping up like a pennant. There's a double bottom here at that 32 range. So in essence, anybody that loaded up or added Ether Classic on the dip, right? We want to buy when the market is selling. We want to buy when we want to buy the fear, right? And we want to sell the greed. And we're not at greed level yet. We still haven't broken out like we're supposed to for this airdrop. So there's 144% that could have been made on Ether Classic from the bottom of the pullback until now. And this pullback wasn't because Ether Classic got weak. This is because the entire market was experiencing a sell-off. So when we see these market-wide dips, what that does, it tells us that the market's moving in unison, and it's not, oh, just one chart tanking. No, it's the market cap shrinking. These coins are traded on BTC and Ether values. When BTC goes down in value, these coins are going to shrink with it unless they're getting bought back up for a catalyst. And this is going to be one of our catalyst plays where it's, even in a down market, it's going to make money just by being a catalyst. But we're not in a down market, not so much anymore. We're seeing, this is actually a bull flag right here, and it hasn't broken upwards yet. So you've got somewhat of a bull flag, and you got a flagpole. Here's the actual flag body, and we should see somewhat of an upwards break. The moving averages look good. I see an inverse head and shoulders over here. I'm getting highlighted. Ether Classic's looking pretty good. Alright, it's gonna be our left shoulder, it's gonna be our head, it's gonna be the right shoulder. Anytime we see a pattern like this one, right, well, that tells us that there's going to be somewhat of a price reversal. You see it at the top, it's going to come back, it's headed back down if it's a real head and shoulders. An inverse head and shoulders tells us that that is the end of the bear trend, which is nice. You know, there's an incoming catalyst here, and we're expecting this one to make some decent gains. Anything else on Ether Classic? The Clo report is in the buy recs. You should be able to read up on Clo, and there's actually a link in that report to their GitHub to get the latest updates on Clo. Alright guys, moving into Z Classic. Z Classic has been very volatile for this airdrop because coin supply is so low. We've seen it make gains and then gains again, and now it's actually broken out of the previous channel, right? So I was trying to highlight on the Ether Classic BTC chart, right? This is going to be the previous range, and it's trying to find support up here. What's the date on the Z Classic airdrop, guys? You guys have a date on that one? I believe they postponed it twice, the 28th. So, you know, this would be a good accumulation point again, because it has pulled back. Let me get a fib from the last swing low. It's right at that 50%. I think 50% on some of these plays with a low token supply, right? Low token supply and very bullish. 50% pullback is the most we're gonna see. Even throughout the correction, Z Classic was a top performer. I actually ended up adding somewhere around here at one of the lows because it is a catalyst play. And yeah, so this would be a good pullback right here to enter based on these smaller movements. But after the airdrop, right, I believe this thing's gonna come crashing down faster than it rose. So if I was to enter this chart, I would not hold through the airdrop. Absolutely not. Now, had I entered this chart way sooner, you know, the very bottom, that's feasible. But when you've got these things made thousands and thousands of % gain, if it's just to come down from here, right, there is quite, it's a steep drop, guys. So I wouldn't hold through the airdrop. I don't see what Bitcoin private is gonna bring to the privacy coin sector that's so unique about it, right? We've got all these great privacy coins that already have case use. With privacy, you want to have case use. You want to see these things being utilized and being endorsed, like on the dark net, because that's where their value is. If nobody's using this coin, what's the value in it? What's going to make Bitcoin private so special over the other coins? So Qtum. Qtum's been a strong runner, especially since we had that reversal from the bear trend. We're looking like we're still in a range. This is the bottom of the range. It's close to the bottom of the range. I'm going to draw a support line down here and do advanced resistance line up top. And we are range trading. So Qtum's in a range. It's not quite to the very bottom. If anyone's looking to range trade this, you want to enter at the bottom of the range and sell at the top of the range or at the breakout. I'm going to throw some moving averages on a one-day chart, see if it's looking healthy. Moving averages cross downwards. I believe they're also holding an airdrop, but that airdrop's like a 10-to-1 ratio, and it's just not a really nice airdrop. Now, is it a good long? I believe it's a good long. If we stretch out this channel, right, it still hasn't broken its all-time resistance. It's still in that almost the same channel, and it tried to make a new high, but we still don't see a new all-time high. Is it setting up for it? Quite possibly, but DMAs right now on a one-day are converging downwards. Stratus. Stratus been a cruel mistress, right? She goes up and she comes down. She goes up and back down again. It's been one of those volatile ones. Our first signal was issued at 60k sats. We're at 88. We had news come out, right? And looking at it on a one-day standpoint, we were looking for the second ICO, the one out of China, and the ICOs came out, or they were announced. We still don't have the participation dates, the pre-sale dates and stuff. So as a long, Stratus looks sustainable. Technically, it's lost a little bit of momentum through the correction, but Strat's been one of those coins that just rallies. And now volume today is at 276, so it's a low volume day for Strat. And you know, DI plus, DI minus don't look the best. With that being said, Strat's got a lag. Anytime we see a correction, Strat takes a big hit and then it lags and comes back up. You guys have any questions? Any guy, give me some more alts. Neo's looking really strong. I'm going to cover XLM first. So XLM, green, I already covered Monero. I did like a good 5 minutes on Monero, so we'll just kind of be in the replay. Alright, Lumen, FairX been delayed, right, but what else do we know about Lumen? We know that they have a partnership with IBM. We know that IBM was pitching blockchain at Coca-Cola in Brazil, and IBM handles a lot of Brazil's computing powers and needs, or not Brazil, but Coca-Cola's computing powers and needs. So we've got quite a bit of positivity around Lumen, right? Lumen, I believe it's gonna be one of the stronger longs just because of the partnerships that they have. Lumen and FairX is gonna bring more value to Lumen. The Lumen decentralized exchange itself is already up. It's not the friendliest UI. There's like 5 coins on there. I was looking at it. But then FairX is going to add more value to Lumen. But the value in Lumens isn't just FairX, right? It's the partnerships they have with IBM, and it's what IBM's doing with the Lumen blockchain for their partners. So that's where Lumen's value going to be derived from. Fundamentally, I believe Lumen is a great long. I hold quite a bit of Lumens. All right, Neo was looking really good on the USD chart yesterday. If we compare it to a lot of the other alts, right, and we're just gonna measure the pullback from the top. You know, ETH was at 33% off the top, 31%. Well, Neo is at that 30% range as well. So Neo, in comparison to ETH as a hedge or as a gainer, they're moving in unison. Let me go back to ETH real quick. See, we see the moving averages on a one-day one and cross back up. And when that cross happens, we might see another explosion in price action. That's kind of why we strategize. We see the DI plus crossing above DI minus. Stochastic wise, we're going into more overbought territory. And this is nice. There's an article that just popped up. Crypto market cap back up to over 500 billion. That's awesome. We're at 280 billion. All right, back to Neo USD. Neo's looking pretty good. We really want to watch and see what happens at the MA cross. If we do see an actual cross, we might see a nice upward price movement, another possibly volatile leg up. And if we just see a little friction and then another downtrend, then it's not as healthy. Let's go Neo BTC, and it's somewhat tapering off, right? But what's nice is that it's still above its previous high channel, right? And what we want to see is we want to see coins uphold value and then go back up. Even though Neo USD is off its all-time high, it's still looking pretty good in BTC values. It's still in that top of the channel. Alright, going over SYS. So SYS coin is an accumulation play for the master nodes. Now we're seeing somewhat of a pennant developing on the one-day chart with wide open moving averages, and ADX friction is at 21. We know that 24 24 to 26 range is where I really like the breakouts to occur. It's just where they occur. What's going on here? Look at this one-day chart. It's a bullish one-day chart. MA is looking up. We get somewhat of a pennant forming. It's just a matter of time before Syscoin goes 3, 4, 5x, tenfold maybe. And so with some of these plays, they're fundamentally viable, especially with a masternode play, because there's a lot of accumulation happening here. And anytime there's accumulation happening for nodes, what nodes do is they lock up coin supply, so there's less coins being traded, and that makes the coin uphold its value. Just like Zcoin, signaled Zcoin at 11 bucks and went all the way up to 140 bucks, and it took a couple of months to develop, right, for that play to move up, but it did. And that's the thing about some of these FA plays. They're gonna be more sustainable long. So Sys is still pretty good. Another thing in markets, patience is the #1 moneymaker, right? And then there's overnight riches. It's not how it works, guys. Does that cover Sys? But BAT, or basic attention token. Alright, so BAT is back into the original range when it was listed, I guess, so the range established. We still want to see BAT break out of this range. It had quite a bit of momentum. You can see look at all this buy volume, and it just tapered off. So what's happening now? Moving averages on the 1 day are not looking the hottest, right? We don't see anything imminent coming in. Buy volume is pretty low. So what's going to happen with that is we want to see how this move develops. I don't see I don't see a massive sell-off happening yet. And we saw somewhat of a parabolic move. And if you're gonna fib it from this swing low to this swing high, we're below that 61.8 level. But we have to keep in mind that there was a market correction during this period, this era. Before the correction, it was looking pretty good. And this is somewhat of a bullish formation, and we entered the correction. So, but fundamentally, BAT is still a good token. We got in that 2200 range. It's at 4300, so it's almost 100% in gains. And as for BAT, we haven't had any new partnerships announced, not that I've read up on, but we still have, BAT being used on YouTube, which is a Google company, and I just think it's a matter of time before there's more interaction between actual Google and Brave and BAT as a token. That's my opinion. Alright, what do you guys got for me? I'll take 3 more tokens. NXT. Why NXT, Cypher? I'm interested to know. Yes and no. I mean, this was a airdrop play that we made 1000% on. You gotta leave some things alone. You make 1000% on something, and we move forward. So Ven was actually making pretty good gains. There you go, come on. So Ven made quite a rise. This almost looks like a pennant and then like a falling wedge in a sense, or even a flag. These wicks are worrisome. But then we had this upwards breakout. If you're gonna run a fib on this breakout, it's actually looking bullish. This looks like not even a 51% or 50% retracement. So technically, it is still bullish. Ven is looking good. I like Ven right now. We want to see what happens at the MA cross. We could see another leg up. We also want to make sure, you know, we gotta understand that yes, BTC is making gains, but there's still a little bit of uncertainty in the market, and we wanna. That's good. Uncertainty in the market is going to keep people on their toes, right? So this is a bull flag, it breaks out, and then enters this channel, and we see another breakout. The overall trend is at 19, so it might be a few days, maybe a week or two before we see a run, unless there's just a massive catalyst. But then we see a lot of buying, right? Very little profit taking, and some more buying coming in. So you want to check on catalyst, see what else Ven has in store, and kind of move on from there. Let me cover ZRX. Alright, so it was down some pretty, you know, it was down yesterday. It was on the way down. ZRX is almost looking very similar to Ven. But ZRX is going to be a decentralized exchange. So we're going to see case use out of ZRX this year. ZRX isn't a swing play. ZRX is more of a long because of utility coming in from 0OX, right? So the chart is looking, a lot of these charts look the same because of this correction. And what's really going to separate what's a good momentum trade now versus what's going to be a good long is identifying the charts that are not moving in unison, the charts that are actually ahead of the other ones, right? That are whose MAs aren't pointing down on a 1 day. I'm pretty sure ETC is like that. So here we see the MAs moving up. We should be entering a new channel. We want to see for momentum in this era. We want to see charts coming up, breaking out of previous ranges, and sustaining that level. Right? That's what's going to make a strong chart, and that's what's going to generate gains in times of uncertainty, the strongest gainers. But then you're going to have your fundamental long plays. The fundamental long plays are a hodl, not a swing. So at some point, you know, every market participant's got to decide what portion of the portfolio is going to be long and what portion is going to be swing and what portion is going to be leverage and hedging. And you got to plan your trades and trade your plan and not be hesitant through this stuff. I have not looked into Quash. Let me look at the chart here. Is there a ticker on that, Granada? What exchange is it traded on? I can't pull it up on Coinigy, bud. I'd have to look it up on TradingView and get back to you personally. So I haven't heard anything yet because of the crypto. If you go into the PDF that I published, there's a link to that GitHub. And once you get on that GitHub, they have a checklist, and that was the next thing based, you know, on my last report that they wanted to do. One thing about myself is I don't hold for the airdrop. I want to extract my value from the market because I don't care about a free coin. If I make 600, 800% on a trade, why am I hanging on to a free coin? This makes no sense. So, but I do understand what's going to happen is once we do have the news on supporting the airdrop, the value of ETC is going to go up. One things that I do know of are like my Ether wallet, Ether Classic wallet. There's like 3 wallets that are in support. Exchange wallets, we don't have that yet. We don't have that news yet. Alright guys, I'll take one more question. You are welcome. Take one more question. Dragon. That's another Hyobi coin. I don't have access to Hyobi charts right now. Putting me on the spot, man. You know, I haven't looked into those coins. You know, if it's a coin that I haven't, you know, published about, we haven't analyzed, then I'm not going to be able to give you, you know, great intel on what I think's going on, just because I haven't looked into the project. There might be a reason we haven't looked into the projects. There's a lot of FUD and there's downward pressure on the coin. Well, it's probably a project that we weren't interested in because of certain reasons. Yeah. Anyways, Cypher and the other analyst guys, I'll be on analyst talk here throughout the day. I'll be on analyst talk for the rest of the day in day trader lounge. My dog's crying. Stella, quiet. So what we'll catch up on a few projects. There's a few requests for FA reports that I'm gonna have fulfilled, so we'll have a couple of reports come out for you guys this week, and I'll update you guys from the Dallas conference too. So I'm gonna take one of the cameras. We'll try to get some interviews and cover good content too. Thank you guys for tuning into today's Power Hour. And yeah, I'll catch up with you guys in the chat.